This is Channel of We Rebuilding We, another production by Roadblock Prod MM of GGCTV. The Hub's aim is to ensure that the social equity provisions of New York's cannabis law are realized by providing information, opportunities, and support to the communities that were most harmed by cannabis prohibition. It will be a central space for New Yorkers to learn about economic opportunities, how to navigate the application and licensing process, and get connected to educational resources and support. The Hub is being launched as a project of the Bronx Defenders, in partnership with the Bronx Community Foundation. Our immediate goal will be helping social equity applicants through the licensing application process, with educational services to follow. To this end, we're creating a clinic in partnership with cannabis legal expert, Christina Bucola, ESQ.
Cannabis attorney, advisor, educator Akele Parnell, New York Cannabis Project Eli Northrop, the Bronx Defenders. Please listen as Lady Ambition breaks it down.
Level set. Cannabis legalization in NYS. On March 31, 2021, New York State passed the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act, MRTA. Anyone 21 plus can possess up to 3 ounces cannabis inside or outside of home. In the future, will be able to possess up to 5 pounds in home. Can possess higher amounts if prescribed by a doctor. Smoke cannabis where one could otherwise smoke a cigarette. Give lawful amounts of cannabis to other people 21 plus as long as no compensation is exchanged. Past cannabis convictions automatically expunged. Established a regulatory system for the legal cultivation, processing, and sale of cannabis for ECT. Social equity in the MRTA. The law requires an equity plan be developed to provide loans, grants, and incubator programs to ensure broad opportunities for participation in the new legal industry by people from disproportionately impacted communities as well as small farmers. Social equity in the MRTA. The law requires an equity plan be developed to provide loans, grants, and incubator programs to ensure broad opportunities for participation in the new legal industry by people from disproportionately impacted communities as well as small farmers. Social equity. A goal shall be established to award 50% of adult use cannabis licenses to social and economic equity applicants and ensure inclusion of a. individuals from communities disproportionately impacted by the enforcement of cannabis prohibition, b. minority-owned businesses, c. women-owned businesses, d. minority and women-owned businesses, e. distressed farmers, and f. service-disabled veterans. Social equity. Under the Social and Economic Equity Plan, extra priority shall be given to applications that demonstrate that an applicant, a. is a member of a community disproportionately impacted by the enforcement of cannabis prohibition, b. has an income lower than 80% of the median income of the county in which the applicant resides, and c. was convicted of a marijuana-related offense prior to the effective date of this chapter, or had a parent, guardian, child, spouse, or dependent, or was a dependent of an individual who, prior to the effective date of this chapter, was convicted of a MRO. Timeline: March 31, 2021, MRTA passed September 2021, Governor Hochul appoints staff to Office of Cannabis Management/Cannabis Control Board. March 9, 2022, Office of Cannabis Management, OCM, announces that the first 100 to 200 retail cannabis (CORD) licenses will go to New Yorkers who have been directly impacted by cannabis prohibition. May 31, 2022, public comment period on regulations closes. July 14, 2022, OCM announces final CORD regulations application period expected to open in mid-August 2022. What are CORD licenses? Conditional Adult Use Retail Dispensary. CORD license. CORD licensees are the first retail dispensaries to open for legal adult use cannabis sales in New York State, establishing businesses owned by justice-involved individuals from the start of NYS adult use cannabis industry. CORD licenses are coupled with financial assistance to secure real estate, build out the dispensaries, including equipment and furniture, and operational and admin supports and services. CORD licensees are expected to start sales before the end of 2022. Can I choose where my CORD is located? CORD licensee awardees will be assigned a dispensary location in one of the 14 14. Geographic regions of NICE. While you can't choose your selection, you can show your top 5 regional preferences. Why are these dispensary licenses called conditional licenses? These adult use dispensary licenses have a 4-year conditional period. During the conditional period, you cannot change your license location, cannot sell your license. No owners can have ownership in a cultivator, processor, micro-business, cooperative, or distributor. License must maintain cord ownership and control eligibility requirements. Cord licenses, eligibility applicants must be justice involved. Applicants must have an interest in an existing profitable business. Applicants must have a presence in New York State. Cord licenses, eligibility justice involved requirement. At least one person applying for licenses must have been convicted of a cannabis-related offense in NICE prior to MRTA, had a parent, legal guardian, child, spouse, or dependent who was convicted of a cannabis-related offense in NICE prior to MRTA, was the dependent of someone who was convicted of a cannabis-related offense in NICE prior to MRTA. Spouse includes 2 people who were in a registered and legal domestic partnership because they could not be legally married prior to the passage of the Marriage Equality Act in 2011. Cord licenses, eligibility justice involved requirement. Qualifying cannabis-related offense are marijuana offenses under Old New York Penal Code Articles 221, 220, and 240.36, which were repealed by MRTA. Arrests for these offenses that ultimately led to a conviction of another offense, i.e. non-drug offense, violation, or misdemeanor, by means of a plea deal or other mechanism also qualify as a cannabis-related offense. Individuals who can provide evidence that they, or their parent, guardian, spouse, child, etc., were arrested for a cannabis-related offense before March 31, 21, are considered justice involved if they were ultimately convicted of another offense, such as a non-drug offense, violation, or misdemeanor. Cord licenses, eligibility justice involved requirement or applicant is a non-profit organization that has tax exempt status, serves justice individuals or communities with historically high rates of arrest/conviction/incarceration, operates and manages a social enterprise for at least 2 years, creates job opportunities for justice-involved individuals, has justice-involved individuals on its board, has at least 5 full-time employees. Additional cord ownership and control requirements. At least 51% of the applicant must be owned by individuals or nonprofits who meet the justice impacted requirement. At least 30% of the applicant must be owned by a single individual or nonprofit who meets the justice impacted requirement. Such eligible individual or nonprofit must maintain sole control of the applicant and have a significant NICE presence. Qualifying business requirement for individual with sole control. The individual with sole control and 30% ownership of the applicant must also hold or have held, for a minimum of 2 years, at least 10% ownership interest in a business, have exercised control over that business, and that business must have had a net profit for at least 2 years during the time that the individual held the ownership interest. How to demonstrate a presence in New York State. Significant presence in NICE as an individual or by having a corporate location in corporation or organization in NICE. A majority of ownership are residents of NICE, at least 180 days in current year or 540 days in last 3 years.